I like to call these days Millionaire Mondays. If we do this and we schedule this on a regular basis on Mondays, then, we just push our business. So here's the 4 dates: 28th of January today, February 4th, February 11th, and February 18th. So look forward to seeing you all. That's going to take us right up to the week before our HomeSmart inaugural growth summit on February 24th and 5th. Genie, I know you're coming down. Can't wait to see you there at that event. And I'm looking forward to networking with a lot of top agents. All you HomeSmart agents, I hope you'll make it to that event February 24th and 25th. The goal of why we're doing this is to help you all have more transactions with listers to get results. So that's the goal. We want you to go in and share with us on the Facebook groups, on the chat, on everything that's going on. Let us know what we're missing, and also let us know what's working for you, what you liked. We really want this to be a feedback-oriented 4-week session. So please share your feedback on the social media forums with us. One of the things you're going to see here in a minute, we're going to go through and we're going to talk about, we're going to have a little bit of an outline. And for example, we're going to talk about prospecting, and we're going to have 10 or 20 things listed under prospecting. So what I would like from all of you audience members, if you feel something is missing from the prospecting list, post it in the chat, post it on the social media forums, and we'll make sure that in the upcoming weeks 2, 3, and 4, that we cover those missing topics. So Genie and Shareef, are you guys ready?
Yes, let's do this.
Awesome. All right. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Here we go. We're going to break today's session down into 4 key areas. We're going to talk about brand building, which is very different than prospecting. We're going to talk about planting seeds with buyers. And we're going to talk about, then we're going to dig into where the core of it really is prospecting, lead generation, and engagement. And then we're going to talk about presentations and what you're doing on presentations with sellers to really close the business. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
All right. And before I do that, I'm going to interview you each. Let's see, Genie, let's start with you. When did you get licensed?
I got licensed in February of 2014.
February of 2014. So we're talking like 5 years ago.
Yep.
And you're already having such success there on listings. That's awesome. Shareef, how about you? When did you get licensed?
I got licensed in September of 2014.
So 4.5 years. So the key takeaway for me on that is that if both of you have such success in that short time period, a lot of the tactics that you're going to share today, agents can take and implement and see results in their business very quickly. So kudos to both of you for making such good progress in such a short amount of time. So Genie, how about you? When and how did you get your first listing?
So I got my first listing when I was holding some open houses for a builder, and this buyer came through. They wanted to put an offer on this home, but they need to sell their home first. So I got a listing and a buyer in the same transaction.
Awesome. And how long was that into your career?
That was just like 3 months into my career.
3 months into your career.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, Shareef, how about you?
Yeah, I got my first listing from a family member, and it was a bit of not a train wreck, I won't say that, but I was a new agent, hadn't closed a sale yet, and I had a family member that wanted to list a premier lot in a premier area, and we're talking well and septic and all this stuff that I had no idea about, and put it up, and that was my first listing. Had to kind of fake it till I made it a little bit.
Awesome. All right, so now let's fast forward to how many listings last year. So Genie, you had 33. Shareef, you had 19, right?
Yes.
Where did last year's listings come from? If you were to summarize it. Genie first.
Okay.
Yeah, ladies first.
So I represent a couple of builders. So I broke it down in percentages. So about 35% of my listings came from my builders. 25% of my listings came from open houses, 25% came from referrals, about 20% came from family and friends.
That's awesome. All right. So how about you, Shareef?
Yeah, my breakdown isn't so organized, but because I know most of my listings came from referrals last year. I mean, I 80% for sure, were from referrals. So, some of the things that you've been talking about, planting those seeds and has really helped in that.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so Genie, real quick, repeat your percentages. I want to write those down.
35% was from builders that I represent.
Okay.
25% were from open houses.
Okay.
25% were from referrals. And
Okay.
20% from friends and family.
Got it. Okay. All right. So both of you, fast forward now to your most recent listing, signed contract, signed seller's agreement. How did you both get your most recent one?
So my husband and his family are investors, and they are shuffling their cards. So we are listing about 7 listings up in the Portland metro area of some rental properties. So
Awesome.
that's where mine have come from just this weekend.
And how about the one right in front of that? Right in front of those 7?
Right before that was a referral that I got.
Okay.
A family member referred me out.
And I think I remembered you told me that came from one of your past buyers.
Yes.
Referred you out, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Shareef, how about you?
Yeah, mine was a referral. I had a seller that I helped them sell and buy, and they had such a great experience. They referred their aunt to me, and I did the same. I helped them sell their home and buy their, level up home, and I'll take it.
And then I want to clarify too, I'm getting a question from the group. Are you solo agents or team members? So the two of you run separate businesses as solo agents. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So in this business, it's very rare for agents to come right out of the gate and start with more than one listing. Oftentimes that first listing is either a family member, close friend, or someone that we know very closely, and that kind of surfaces as our first listing. But after that, at some point, you make the transition. You're working with more buyers is the traditional route that most agents go. I think in talking to both of you, you both went that route as well. You both started working with buyers more, but then at some point you made the jump from working with buyers to sellers. And Shareef, you told me at one point you realized that you could be so much more efficient after you did your first couple listings. You saw that you could be more efficient working with buyers or sellers rather than buyers, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can manage 50 listings. Could you imagine trying to manage 50 buyers? Anybody on here is probably like, what?
Right. So I think that's the goal. So if both of you could take 1 minute and kind of tell us about how you think you eventually made the jump from your numbers being very buyer oriented at the beginning of your career to now being seller oriented or seller and buyer oriented. So Shareef, you first.
Yeah. One of the biggest things I knew in all the training that we were receiving here at HomeSmart, and by the way, I got to make a quick shout out to the ownership team here that, and HomeSmart that has this amazing training program that gives us really the path on multifaceted. You want a builder, there's a path. You want an investor, there's a path, so all of that training, I knew I wanted to be a listing agent. And going from no listings, how did you get there? I was really focusing on my buyers and trying to build that brand with my buyers that will one day be sellers. That, I can't wait till we close on this and you'll call me in a few years and you're gonna make so much money or whatever it is. I can't wait to list your house, and planting those seeds all throughout the process that I'm working with them. Just keep pounding it home to those buyers. And in 2016, when I hit the top 10, I was 90% buyers. And by 2017, that shift started where now a third of my business was listings. And then by, 2018, this last year, it was about 60% of my business. So pretty close to just growing it step by step. And I think, people want to just rush in, and I only want to be a listing agent right away, and I want to grab all these listings and focus on that. I think working with the buyers gives you, that experience and gives you an opportunity to plant those seeds with them.
Well, and that's why I wanted to dig in just for a minute about that, because in doing all the research and interviewing so many top agents who are top listing agents, we wanted to bring to the people attending the webinar things that they could put in place right away today to just go out and win listings. But one of the common themes that just kept showing up is that those buyers translate into listings very quickly. And so it's okay also to start with those buyers, but you do have to do what you did, which was plant those seeds. Yep. And you got to say, hey, when you're ready to sell this someday, or a year from now, or 2 years from now, or whenever, I can't wait to work with you then. You planted those seeds so that they happened. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of little comments you can make. Oh, if a buyer says to you, "Oh my gosh, you've been so great. Thank you so much. You should see me on the listing side. Wait till you sell. You wait till you see me on representing you as a seller, and we're now marketing and branding and doing all this fun stuff. It's an exciting thing. You don't need to worry about it now, but it keeps them thinking about, I think, oh, okay,
right.
Our guy for whatever."
Yeah, love it. Awesome. How about you, Genie? How did you make the jump from working with buyers to sellers?
The same thing, planting seeds with buyers. I was holding a lot of open houses for builders in the area. In the Salem area, we have a lot of local builders, and I'm friends with quite a few of them. So, we have a lot under the Salem HomeSmart that we represent. So I was doing open houses. I was gaining buyers. And then from there, I was just loving on my buyers and doing pop buys. I do about 6 to 10 a year. It just kind of depends on the season and what's going on in the year. And then loving, as the years went on, I have this nice little core group of people that always are referring me out. And so then I would love on them more, and just continue and be present in their lives as a friend, not just as a real estate agent, and then seeing what I can do and me representing them the way that I would want to be represented as an agent as well. And just over time, those buyers turn into sellers and it starts rolling. And then I also come about 2016, I got the opportunity to get interviewed by quite a few different builders, and I started representing builders too. So,
right. So I guess that's the thing that I wanted to make sure I pulled out of the interview with you today is that oftentimes we want that shortcut, like, hey, what can I turn on today that results in listings tomorrow? But the common theme just is always that it starts with those buyers and planting those seeds. And next thing you know, even we were talking about, Genie, you doing an open house, and you might have somebody come in as a buyer, but then they turn out to be a listing too, because they own a home over here. They want to buy this one. And so it kind of, those buyers generate listings. And you're telling me you still do 2 open houses a month, minimum.
Oh, at least. Yep, at least.
We're going to dig into that in a minute. I'm getting some questions over here.
Yeah.
I want to share one thing. So one of the questions is, okay, so if she's working with family members, is she charging them a different commission? And, but I don't want to give the insinuation that that's the majority of your business.
No, it's not.
It's not your family.
Nope.
It is hard work that you've worked through, working through your sphere, through marketing, and in your term, loving on people, right?
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, my family's only started selling their listings like literally this weekend. They've held on to their listing, their properties for 10 years. So that's something new.
Love it. All right. So I want to tell one other quick story just to drive this home too. I was in Rhode Island and I was interviewing some agents in Rhode Island and top agents. And I was like, tell me how you got your last listings, or tell me what you're doing to get so many listings. And one of the agents said to me, she said, I don't work with listings really. I just work with buyers. 4 hours later that night at her awards banquet, she won the award for top listing agent for the event. And she's like, oh, I guess I never really realized how many listings I was doing. She was just concentrating on buyers, but then they were turning into listings. And she's like, wow. And she totaled them up and she's like, yeah, I did do a lot of listings. I guess I never really even connected the dots. And it's just funny. I hear these themes over and over again. So I'm not trying to steer the conversation. I just want to try to pull out the truths, you know, that it seems like that we all run into, that, you know, working with buyers is a great start. And then we can do other things with prospecting and lead gen to accelerate it, right?
Yes.
So, all right, so let's dig into the 4 things real quick. Let's go in, let's talk about some brand building in general. Brand building, it doesn't really necessarily generate leads right on the spot, but it talks about your, you know, your business cards, your key phrases, your online profiles being updated, and, you know, well-written, social media, reviews, you know, sphere marketing, your personality, all of those things. So in a quick instant, because the most of the meat's in prospecting, we're gonna get to in a second, but just talk about brand building, which is more the long-term marketing. What's your philosophy toward targeting listings through brand building?
Yeah, when it comes to that, you know, it's such a interesting thing building. I mean, from where I started to where I am now is kind of this, what's right for me, and what's going to be right for me might not necessarily be right for everybody. But I just felt in the beginning, when we're trained to just keep, you know, post after post after post after post. And I was doing that, but I was doing that on my personal page, not as much as, you know, separating my 2 lives. And really that I think in 2016 made a huge difference when I really started keeping my personal stuff personal, like on Facebook, for example, sharing stuff about my life, my family, my kids, etc. And then, you know, keeping my business page separate. I felt I got more traction that way, personally, and I felt more comfortable about it, more confident about sharing post after post on my business page, where, you know, somebody's not going to go, oh, another, you know, scrolling through type of thing, that this guy is only on, you know, on my personal page. So I think that's a big distinction that a lot of agents need to get on board with, is just separating, you know, your branding. You're going to have a personal brand, and you're going to have, you know, the personal brand, the family man, or whatever, you know, life situation you're in, and then you'll have your career brand. And for every agent, you know, it might be builders that you want to target. So your posts are going to be different. I think knowing yourself and what you want is probably half of the battle right there. And then you can go, I mean, we've had so many tools telling us on, you know, what to do and how to get there, but it's, what do you want to do? What do you guys want to do out there? Do you want to target investors, or do you want to do flippers? Do you want to do first-time buyers? What is it? So I think knowing that helps line you up with all of those points on the side there.
And that will change throughout your career too, just as your life changes.
Right. Well, and then Genie, skipping down here real quick to personality or sphere marketing, right?
Yeah.
I know for you, we were talking because sphere marketing, some of these items also appear in prospecting. They're 2 different things. But the difference is that when it's branding, it's like, it's more long-term. It's like you just being you. It's you just connecting with people. So talk just a little bit about your sphere marketing and some of your, you know, your general way of just staying in, you know, in touch with people and setting an impression about what you are as an agent.
Yeah. So, I think sphere marketing is really, really important. That's at the beginning, nobody knows that you're an agent. When you become an agent, they don't think of you first off. So you have to, with what Shareef was saying, like, you don't want to bombard them on your social media, but you need to get to the point where they are starting to think of you as, oh yeah, Genie's the agent you need to go to, or Shareef is that agent. And it takes a while before your sphere starts thinking of you. I mean, just think about our friends from high school and college. Do we know what all they do? so we can reach out for their skills, because I don't. So we need to be at the forefront. And so just being on top of that. And so I volunteer at my kids' schools. My kids are all really active in sports and within the community. And so I try and be teen mom, and I try to help put on the fundraisers and donate items to those fundraisers and sponsor kids. So people can see that I want a better community at the same time as they're seeing, oh, Genie, real estate agents. I remember her, she, donated a bag to the school auction. I'm going to call Genie, type of thing at the same time. And just staying at that forefront.
Well, you mentioned that a lot in your pre-call interview. You kept talking about top of mind, and making them aware. So you do such a good job at that. All right, so skipping ahead, planting seeds with buyers, I think we've covered that pretty well. Let's get to prospecting. Let's get to lead gen. Let's get to engagement. And I know that you all do a lot of these items that are up on the screen. Kind of like you maybe to hone in on three that you do really well. Genie, just to start with, let's talk about your community involvement, which you think is lead gen, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit and what you do to really, again, be top of mind.
So, like I said, just being part of the committees, and I have 4 kids under the age of 9. So I'm busy as it is. So I make it so it is something that's naturally going to happen anyways. I'm already going to be at baseball practice for 2 hours, 4 nights a week. So might as well be teen mom type of thing. Something that's not going to add something more to my plate, but keeps me involved in the community in that insights.
Right. Okay. You talk about open houses a lot. You said 2 times a month, if not 4 times a month.
Definitely.
And you follow up with individual emails.
Yep.
How do you make those translate to listings?
So listening to what they are looking for, where they're at in their life. Are they looking to downsize? Are they first-time home buyers? Just having that conversation and getting to know them at that level, at a personal level that's not a sales pitch level.
You're talking about all the people coming through the open house, right?
Yep, exactly.
And you said to me, you made a quote, I wrote it down. It says, "This is not about selling the house.
Yeah.
It's about building my business."
Exactly.
Can you unpack that a little bit?
So you have an open house to grow your business. You have people coming through your door. And the only way, not the only way, the easiest way for me to grow my business is by taking 3 hours on a Sunday or 3 hours on a Saturday and walking people through a house, asking them to sign in at the open house and having those conversations. That's how, that's been one of the easiest ways for me to grow my business, especially at the beginning.
Perfect. Okay. Let's see here. The third one here. We're getting a lot of questions about new construction, home builders, tons of questions about how you began to work with home builders.
Yeah.
I will say that a lot of listers, they do reach out proactively and engage home builders. They don't wait for home builders to come to them.
Yeah.
And especially, in Oregon where, there are many home builders that maybe aren't building a ton of homes,
yep.
but they're home builders, right? But you've done it by creating relationships. So can you answer? Everybody wants to know, how did you do it? How did you connect with the home builders?
Okay. So I have a couple different avenues. My father-in-law and husband are both in the construction field. So I've known home builders in the area for many, many, many years. It was then me showing that I work my butt off to do what I do. And I have become respected in the community in regards to that. I then joined the Home Builders Association, started going to those meetings, being involved in the different community boards within the Home Builders Association as well. And once again, it's just relationship building. So they see what I do and they ask me for interviews. I don't go after them. That's
Right.
my thing. I would never want a real estate agent to go after my builder. That's like cheating on my husband. Like, you don't come after my husband because he's already connected with one. But if I continue working my butt off and they see that, there's going to be agents that retire. There's going to be agents that go through a season in their life where they are done working with builders. Builders are a lot of work. They're like an only child, and I don't have any only
And
children.
home builders need that home moved fast. The day construction's done, they need it done fast. So I think
If
you
not
talked
sooner.
about how you do mega open houses that you
Mhm.
need home builders where you're doing all this pre-marketing.
Yep.
And can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I do mega open houses, but only for my new construction. So when I have a home that is finally complete, I get it staged and I send out either cards through like Corfact, or I write newsletters and I get like my high school babysitters and their friends to go drop off newsletters around the neighborhood saying, hey, we're gonna have this huge open house. I try and get food trucks there or a caterer there, local businesses to donate raffle items and have raffle drawings. I will also invite other agents to come and help me, because my goal is to have a mega open house, which means tons of people there, tons of people asking questions. And sometimes it may be multiple houses all at once that are complete, that we need to showcase a small neighborhood of 10 houses that are going to be done, and we can pre-sell those. And, so
Someone's asking, when you have that open house, how do you get people to sign in? And
How do
what's your approach? And what's your approach? You're telling me that you're following up with people right away during that open house.
I try. Yep. So as long as it's not super busy, like during my mega open houses, those aren't possible to follow up right there. But that evening, one thing I do with the agents that help me, so if they get talking with someone, that's their lead. I'm not taking that. They're working hard to create that relationship with that individual who's coming through the open house. But any of the leads that I get, no matter if it's during the mega or a normal open house, I have a sign-in sheet. Actually, there's an amazing store here in Portland, and actually they have an online site, allthingsrealestate.com, and they have the simple, cute little sign-in sheets, and they have different styles. So I just use those, and then I have a journal that I keep everything in, and then I write them all out, and then that night I email everyone or text everyone and say, so nice to meet you, I look forward to helping you find this, or I look forward to whatever it was that we had that conversation. And I learned in college, so that I am able to remember who people are, I make little notes on their paper, like on the backside where no one else can see it, wore a funky, goofy hat, or had bright red curly hair, so I can remember who that person is, especially if you have a really busy open house. You need to remember who that individual is.
Awesome. All right, we're getting some questions about staging. We'll come up to that in just a minute. Talking about single house home builders or tract home builders. You're doing mostly, what's that?
So there's a couple of smaller home builders that do like maybe 5 a year, and they're all over the place, all over the Willamette Valley, like an hour span. And then there's some builders that bought land to build multiple houses on. So
perfect. All right. So Shareef, prospecting, lead gen engagement. I know when you were talking about social media, you were talking about how you had to get out of your comfort zone and push it a little.
Yeah.
And you often use social media as a lead gen because you're doing your just listed, your just solds, sold in 2 days, whatever it might be. Can you talk about social media and then talk about what other prospecting and lead gen?
Yeah.
Like,
on social media,
we want people to walk away from this webinar today with 2 or 3 things they can implement right away, like ideas from you.
Yeah. And one of those things is, you'd be surprised, people want to see you, not as much as they want to see your listing, I think. And that same template of just listed that you see over and over in our Facebook feeds, it's trying to get something different out. I mean, I did this video, it was coming soon, and I did the video of the photographer who was doing the drone, just how he was starting. I mean, got the got the photographer here doing the drone, check it out, say hi, Ryan, and then just a float up of the drone and then a shot of the house. And it's almost like the listing became, it was subtle that it was in the background of the video and this and that. And then comments, people are like, what is the address? And I know they always tell you, like, be clear, write the address, write the area, but you'd be surprised how many times I leave things a little more vague, and people, it stirs, you need comments and likes for Facebook's logarithm to start gaining traction. So if you have all the information there, you might get some likes. Comments are probably going to be a little on the lower side, but if you start, South Salem area or Northeast or whatever, just talking about the area, people are going to be like, what address is this? That's a serious person. You're sending them you're sending them a DM right away, getting their phone number. The whole goal is to, and again, this is with me. When I get in front of somebody, my conversion rate on getting that person as a client goes way up. I mean, we're talking, 80, 90% versus on the phone, it's less. And of course, via text is less. So
that's one of the questions on the screen. How many appointments, if you have 10 face-to-face appointments, how many of them are you closing?
80%.
Yeah, 80% or more.
Yeah.
8 out of 10. Yep.
I'm going to go for 9 out of 10, Todd.
I love it.
If I'm in front of them, if you get me in front of you, we're going to have a good time.
Okay. So then how many calls or touches or marketing things do you have to do to get in front of someone? Like, have you played with any of those ratios? That's one of the questions people have.
Yeah. From all of this stuff that's kind of listed there. And I do want to go back on the open house point real quick. When you're meeting people at an open house, I think so many people, and I saw a lot of questions about how do you get people to sign in? How do you get people to sign in? Mm-hmm. Imagine you're a buyer and you're with your husband or wife and you go, hey, let's go touring these open houses. And everyone you're signing in and every person is just trying to get you to sign in so they can call you later and sell. You get that, your defense goes up because you're trying to get sold. Mm-hmm. And my approach with that has been, greeting people and talking with them and just, okay, what are you doing in the area? Are you from the area? Are you a neighbor? Are you looking? Oh, that's so great. And you start telling them a little bit about the house, go on, they will lead, you want to mirror a little bit. Mm-hmm. And as much as information they want to give, answer their questions, and don't just be on top of them, is following them around or this or that, let them do their thing. And before they leave, hey, it was great chatting with you. If you don't mind just, popping your name and number, I have this listing first I would start with, how did you like the house? Oh, it's too small for us. It's too big for us. And I think a lot of agents also don't prep for their open houses. They don't know what's on the market. I can't tell you how many open houses like, come back at 3, I'm done at 3, and I'm going to show you this house around the corner. Yep. That I knew that fits your bill. So those, when people see you kind of working for them before selling them, they will open up a lot better and they will be more willing to give you their information, their email, their contact, because they want to work with you.
And I bring my computer to all my open houses. That way, if they have a question, oh, I saw the house down the street. Do you know if it's for sale still? I can literally pop it up if I don't know the one of the 50 they're talking about. I can get onto MLS and check it out and give them information right there and set appointments right there to go see it after the open house.
Yeah.
One question real quick. They want to know, Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays, which are the best days?
All of them.
And have you ever done an evening open house?
Yes. Yep.
So Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, which is the best day? And have you ever done it?
Here locally, Saturday and Sundays, I haven't done a Friday one. Have you?
Yeah.
I don't do too many Fridays. And I typically do the Saturday early afternoon, the 1 to 3, or the Sunday early afternoon, 1 to 3.
For here, I feel like a lot of it depends on our weather because we do get a lot of rain.
It's Oregon.
So if it's sunny out,
that can change. Right?
That could change.
Yeah.
You may not get so many people in. So if it's like this weekend, for some reason, it was a huge turnout for open houses this weekend, which was great, but it was sunny. And normally during the winter, if it's sunny, you won't get anyone in because everyone's out. Oh yeah, I can get yard work done or, do outdoor activities. So.
Right. Well, hey, a year ago I was in Oregon and we went to an open house for one of you, and we had booties to put on when we got there.
Yeah.
Took our shoes off.
Yep.
So rain doesn't stop you up in Oregon, right?
Nope, not at all.
So both of you are pretty high on open houses, I guess, as far as priority, right? What other elements really drive engagement, drive lead gen, like prospecting, which is different than branding? What are you doing? Postcards? Are you doing e-cards? Letters, thank you cards, pop buys? What is it that you're doing?
So one of the things that and it kind of bleeds into brand, and it bleeds into, staying top of mind and this and that. I mean, it's managing your database, your sphere of influence. And that means past clients, present clients, and potential clients. And I can't tell you how many times I don't necessarily do pop buys, but I do a lot of text messaging, even after we're done and the sale has closed. If something reminds me of them, I'm letting them know, one. And then two, I try and stay engaged with them. So usually after they settle in, I'll invite them out to dinner or drinks or something. We can get together and have a chat, see how they're settling in. That follow-up really goes a long way with clients, because I know, and I did it in the beginning, I would disappear after the closing. Not disappear, but I mean, what do we have to talk about? I'm on to the next thing. And the second that I started looking, back at my clients that I've helped and keeping them engaged, the referrals started flowing like crazy. So I think that's a big point to remember and try and stay on top of the most before, farming and door knocking and getting. We're so trained to go get that new business. And I think we let a lot of our past business go to the wayside, which is a great mountain, or a great farm to farm from there.
Right. So Genie, you said 25% comes from open house, 25% referrals, 20% friends. That's 45% of your business on referrals and friends.
Yes.
And I know you do an awful lot of really working that referral sphere.
Yes.
Stopping by, talking to people. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I did a Buffini class a few years ago, and I love the pop by idea. But I didn't like the quirkiness of it. I want to do important, meaningful pop buys that people weren't just going to throw away, like, I don't know, a crappy $1 at the dollar store scooper, ice cream scooper, whatever. So for summertime, right before we hit a heat wave here, like 80 degrees, I go and buy Otter Pops for all my friends, past clients who have kids, and I drop off a box at their doorstep and saying, hope this helps cool you off. Remember that I can keep real estate transactions cool during the process, or whatever, something snazzy. I can't think off the top of my head. I'll do also for all my moms right before school starts. So that first week in September, I'll send everyone Starbucks gift cards of $7. So I try and do those meaningful pop buys, and every time I get a referral, and most of I don't have many people that don't tell me, hey, Genie, I gave your name to so-and-so. Here's their contact information and their name. I right away put something in that mail, or I go to their house with something I know that they like. So if they're a Beaver fan or a Duck fan, or they like, a certain restaurant in town, I go and get them a $25 gift. Whether that person calls me back or not, I go and get them that gift to say thank you so much for thinking of me and referring me.
Right. Okay, so real quick, we got 8 minutes left. I want to talk real quick. You both do something very unique on your presentations. Okay, so I want to talk for a minute. Well, we'll get to these on a future webinar. Let's go here to presentations. Okay. Okay, so Shareef, you talked to me about one thing that you have to overcome objections that also really helps you. Somebody was asking, how does he get 8 or 9 out of 10? Like, what's he saying? What's he doing? Can you
Well,
talk about that a little bit and maybe your network of
first of all, and I've seen this way too often. Your client should never be more dressed up than you. Period. You should not ever be working with somebody, and if they look sharper than you, step it up. So that in itself, that's maybe
but then don't step up too much too.
Yeah, don't go all tuxedo on us, but one of the main things is it's just knowing your numbers, going in there prepared, but also controlling the conversation. And one of the biggest things that I implemented into my listing presentations, and how utilized has it been? It's actually been pretty utilized, and it's there on the screen talking about when I go into my listings, I've already had people that say, well, and this was earlier on, I picked up on this, and they go, well, the market here in new construction just blew up, and it sucked that labor pool. All those builders sucked up all those electricians and all those plumbers and all those painters and all that stuff. So you had real people that wanted to sell, trying to get an estimate to, paint their home, or trying to get an electrician out because they know they got 3 plugs out or whatever it is. And everybody they're talking to is, yeah, we'll be out and we can get you, how's 2020 looking for you? So we really, I went in and I tried to solve this problem, and I partnered with, painters and cleaners and plumbers and roofers and anyone that I could. And the way I did that was by making the rapport, referring them out, nothing in it for me, but me letting them know. And I would follow up with them. Hey, did you get that independence job? Yeah. Hey, thanks so much. Okay, great. Well, hey, just remember me next time when I need you in for a quick quote, or I need you in for a quick job. Please remember me and remember that. And oh yeah, we'll take care of you. And having that network going into a presentation, people, I guarantee you, they know they need to do things before they sell. Even the average Joe knows, I should probably paint this room. I'll get a big ROI on it. I should fix these little things that I know. They have an intimate knowledge of the home, but they go try to do it and they can't. So now the professional comes in and says, hey, I have all these tools. I'm going to take, you do what you do full time, and this is what I do full time. So I'll take care of this. You let me know, and I'll even help you gauge what to do, what's worth doing and what's not worth doing.
Right. So the bottom line is you have a network of specialists, painters, house cleaners, plumbers, roofers, whatever, that if that objection or if that comment ever comes up, you just hop right on it and you're like, I can take care of that for you.
I say it every time before they mention it or not mention it.
Okay.
So you want to let them know you have all these tools for all these different situations we're going to run into.
Right. Awesome. Okay. So Genie, you told me about what do you think is your number one listing tip that you want to give to someone in a presentation?
So I do the same type of thing as that Shareef does. Like, I have my little pool of people that if people need someone, I'm like, okay, call this person, this person, this person, let them know I contacted you. And then I'll text all those people and let them know to expect these phone calls. But then I also created a commission structure form. So on it, it has like at 5%, these are the jobs I'm going to do for you, because you're hiring me to do this. This is my business. Like, this is what I do full time. So you're hiring me at 5%. These are the items I'm going to do for you. So like I brought it, and I can send it to Todd so he can send it out. But like listing on MLS and putting it on Facebook, free advertising on social media, yard sign, just the simple things. Like, I'll do an open house. Professional photos, I always pay for professional photos for every single home, because I always say a home has to be picture perfect, because pictures are what get people in the door. And then I do at 5.5%, these are the items I'm going to do. And I step it up. Like, I'll put flyers in a yard sign. I will have a lender at open houses. I'll meet an appraiser out there with comps to prove our pricing. And then at 6% commission, I'll also do like a broker open house. I'll pay for a house cleaner to come out and clean for 4 hours. And I will also do that. Like, if I'm looking at the home, I'm like, oh, this needs some love, I will offer that. I will say, I will have my stager out, I will have my house cleaner out, and let's get your house picture perfect and ready for this, because I'm here to sell their home. And so I'm going to do what needs to be done. But I have this document so that they can choose if they want to pay me 5%, 5.5%, or 6% commission, and what exactly I'm going to do for all of those.
Awesome. Okay, so real quick, one of the agents asked a question, and Genie, I hope I didn't do you a disservice when we were talking about, family and home builders, et cetera.
Yeah.
Because the question says, I'm a brand new agent. What do you feel is the best way to generate leads? I do not have family in town.
Open
and
house.
The thing about that is, I don't want to give the wrong impression for you that the majority of your business is coming from those family investors or from the builders. Because I actually know, I remember you 3 years ago, and I remember your business, and I remember your business last year, and I remember your business this year, and I've seen how hard you've actually worked. Like it's not just coming from family or whatever. So if you were to say the number one thing to that agent, I'm new. What do I do? And Shareef, you too. I'm new. Both of you were new 5 years ago. What generated the listings? What's the fastest thing that somebody could do to help generate leads?
So I moved to Salem 5 years ago, and we only had our parents here, and really didn't know that many people. I didn't know that many people. I'd been a stay-at-home mom, and prior to that, I worked in nonprofit. So I did open houses. I did open houses every single weekend, if not twice a weekend, just to start my business, because that's what it was. I had to do whatever needed to be done in order to start my business going. So open houses was the best thing and the easiest thing for me to do.
Yeah, and same here,
And when you didn't have listings, how did you get open houses? Did you ask other people to sit your open houses?
Yep, exactly.
Explain how you did that, because they need to know, how do they do that? How do they start to do open houses?
And at the beginning, when I first started at HomeSmart, we only had like 17 of us, but we would all say if we had listings coming, and if somebody announced, hey, I have a pre-listing or a pocket listing or listing coming out on Sunday or whatever, I say, hey, can I do the open house, please? I'll do it on Sunday from 1 to 4, and no one's going to say no. So it's more time that they get to for their own business or with their family or doing their activities. So you just have to ask. Just ask those agents.
You have to ask and I think show some initiative to some extent, because out of those 19 listings last year, Todd, how many agents did I have reach out to me to ask me to do an open house? One.
Wow.
Of all of those listings, one. So that gives you an idea of getting out there and like, if I got a call from somebody that said, hey, great listing, can I trouble you? Would you mind if I did a listing over at your new listing that just came on? I'm going to do, I'll get there early. I'm going to do some signs. I'm going to bring some donuts. I'm going to represent you well in your brand as the listing agent. Of course. And I'll probably start giving them the inside track on my future listings, and they will be my exclusive open house person. So there's definitely things you can do today to build those relationships in your office, to build those relationships with listing agents. We know we need the help. So,
But what I am hearing from both of you is both of you rank open houses up there as a great resource for trying to get those leads and getting everything rolling.
So it's not just the open house. I really want to make that clear.
Right.
It's like it's not just going and being there in a house. It's like being there, being engaged, knowing your information, knowing the area, the other house, your competition. Like that takes some brush up.
Yeah.
And people will see that.
Right. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna, someone told me I skipped screen number 4 or screen number 2. So I'm gonna go back real quick while I do a little, because I felt like we'd already talked about planting seeds with buyers, you know, that someday buyers become sellers. Buyers also refer you to sellers. Buyers sometimes are sellers. Genie, you were telling me about, you know, and you're doing an open house and somebody comes in as a buyer and they have a listing over here. So I think take a screenshot real quick of this number 2. That's why I felt like we'd talked about it a lot. Prospecting next week, we're going to dig in more on this. We're going to also weeks 3 and 4 probably dig into some of these items here and some of the others. But let's see here. So last element here, you know, if I were to say to you, Genie, why should I use you? What is it? Go.
What is it? Well, I am going to be here for you. I am available phone, text, email at any time. And you are hiring me to work for you. And I will do whatever I need to do in order to make sure that we are selling your house for top dollar and as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Awesome. Shareef, why do people work with you?
You know, I tell people that making this decision on who your agent is going to be is just about as important as hiring your attorney through a divorce or a, you know, criminal situation, because your agent is going to be representing your interests before on probably the biggest purchase of your life and with the most money at stake. So why wouldn't you want to hire somebody that is you're comfortable with and that you trust? That's the most important thing, that you feel is capable. And those 2 points are really why you should work with me, because I will represent you and put your interests above all else.
Right.
I also want to say that, like, when you are doing your presentations for your listings, you need to come prepared. So you don't just come and you're like, oh, I just got like 5 comps. I just threw them in there.
Oh yeah, there's that house that sold on. Yeah. No, you need to be sharp.
Yeah, you have your packet together. You have all your information together. They can see that you're organized. You already have that listing paperwork filled out. And all they have to do is literally fill out the property disclosure form and the information you can't find online. And you have that there for them to fill out there. Yeah. Like, you come prepared to leave with that paperwork signed, with that sign in your car to hang up, with that lockbox with you. And you're scheduling your photos right there, your stager right there, house cleaner right there if they needs it. You're prepared ahead of time.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Any last parting thoughts? And I have a plane to catch to go to the Inman Connect conference in New York. I'm late.
Oh my God.
Wendy's already on her way. So
I would say I've seen quite a few people on there who have been asking questions. If you have questions, reach out to us. I'm totally willing. Like, I'm a mama of 4 and I worked my ass off and I love it. And I have figured out how to get this all organized on some days. Yeah. Some days it's a hot mess, but reach out and I would love to help brainstorm with you and just, help you succeed.
Yeah, and reach out to the top agents in your own office. Yeah. You know, I can't tell you how many that hasn't happened in my experience. People trying to get out and meet with me and talk with me and you know, just network. But that is one of the things that any top agent has gone through, has probably had a good mentor who paid it forward. Yeah. And it's funny. We're here. I was the number 4 agent here at HomeSmart out of 280. Jeannie was the number 3 agent, and we were both in the same training program with the ownership team here. So HomeSmart gives you the path and the tools and the knowledge on what to do. You need to really
use it and go with it.
Yeah, and with what's right with you. Yep. You know, Jeannie's style is going to be a little different than my style. That's going to be a little different than the number 5 agent, than the number 6 agent. It's knowing what you want, target it, and go after it.
Yeah. And success for everyone is different, and what your goals are different. So don't look at people and be like, oh my gosh, I can never get there. You might not want to be there. What's your goal? What's success to you in real estate? Because our success is totally different.
Both enough for being on the webinar with us here today. Really, thank you so much. I just think the world of both of you. You're rock stars.
Thank you, guys.
And, here's what we're going to do too. We did get a lot of questions we couldn't answer. The marketing team is going to respond to those questions. We're going to make sure that we get people who have questions, Genie and Shareef, in touch with you so that they can reach out and ask questions. Maybe if you give do you want to give out your email real quick? And
Yeah.
Go ahead, go for it.
Cool. Okay, so mine is GENIEG at HSmartRealtyGroup.com.
And mine is just my name, Shareef.Hagag, HAGAG @gmail.
That's why I didn't do mine.
And it's SHREEF, correct?
SHAREE.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I can't even spell. All right, SHAREEF.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to get that. The marketing team will have all of this out. We are going to get, there's going to be follow-up so you can download the slides and download the different things. And then we're going to dig in more next week with Bobby Lieb, who's he's going to share a lot of key points that that work for him. So I hope all of you will see us and join us next week. Same time, Millionaire Mondays. Genie and Shareef, hope to see you guys there. One last housekeeping thing. We're going to give away a lighted sign next week to one of the participants this week. We will draw that. We will announce it on next week's webinar. And then Genie and Shareef, you two have cool presents coming your way for doing this with us today. So
thank you. It was a pleasure just being here. Yep. And again, paying it forward is really a pleasure.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We appreciate you both so much. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye. See you next
month.
month.
Take care.
Bye.